Polymarket airdrop is pretty much confirmed. In this video, I'm going to show you the proof that the airdrop and the Poly token is actually going to be launched and how you can take advantage of that and make a bunch of money. Keep watching and I'm going to cover every step by step. If you don't know already, Polymarket is one of the up and coming apps in what's known as a prediction market. Just another fancy way to say that you're betting on information and news. All of these are just different names for the same thing. So what you can do is that you can like almost rate the outcome of events. So for example, you can bet on the Nvidia stock going up or down on October 15th. And it's not just like you bet now and you can only take it after the market is concluded. You can just exit anytime you like. So that's the platform. And a lot of people said that this is not going to happen. From what I can see, this most definitely is going to happen. So let me show you why that is. So as you can see, we have a bunch of news covered. Polymarket is looking to release their native token after it fully enters US markets, according to the sources. That's on October 11th. And then Polymarket files form with SEC showing other warrants offered in the latest raise, typically used to mean tokens, opening the door to a Polymarket token launch. This was on September 16th. And on October 9th, Shane, the founder of a Polymarket, posted this tweet right here. I mean, like, they're just dropping little hints on the way. And on October 7th, Polymarket has announced their international exchange, the parent company of NYSE, making a $2 billion strategic investment of at $9 billion post-money valuation. And if all of this is true and there is an airdrop happening, you would stand to gain a lot in financial rewards if you use this platform. Because if we look at Hyperliquid, one of the best airdrops arguably in 2025, anybody who barely used it back in like 2023-24 when it was early, they made six figures, right? Just for using the platform. So obviously we can expect the same. They'll not tolerate any kind of wash trading or anything of that sort. They're not trying to quote unquote farm here, although we are doing it in a very organic manner. I'll get into a couple of strategies in a second. Obviously we can speculate that early users stand to gain a lot from the airdrop, but let's just forget about that and say that you're joining just now after watching this video. What can you do? Well, I'm not that early to this platform as well, so I'm just going to share what I'm doing and you can go from there. You can obviously try to find your edge in one of these information markets and then actually bet on these things to make money, right? You can actually do this thing, but if you don't want to, that's all right. You can find one of these markets that are like almost concluding. For example, this, right? I don't know, again, I could be totally wrong. As you can see, the odds for Ishiba here just shot up and we have up until December 31st for this market to conclude. But let's just take this as an example and say that this is concluding in like 1 to 2 days and the odds for Ishiba are at 95 cents. Even let's say this is at 96 cents and you only stand to gain like 4%. You can drop a small amount in this market and get like a guaranteed 4% in like 2 days. You get the point? You have to like be very selective with the market you're choosing for this. You need to find something that is like almost concluding and the outcome is almost confirmed. Or something else that you can do is like again try to find your edge. So let's say I make this YouTube video. So I know a thing or two about YouTube, right? So I can look at these videos that these top YouTubers are posting like MKBHD, Mr. Beast. Not this market exactly, but there would be some of these markets where you can bet on how many views the video is going to get in like the first week or the first 24 hours. And if you know a little about these things, you can almost guess. Even if it's like 80%, you stand to gain a guaranteed 15-20%. Again, this is not a good example as it's concluding on 2026 and this market is about like the number of views the next MKBHD video would get on week 1. And I guess this does make sense for me, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And again, something else that you can try and do is, to be honest, just basically insider trading. If you work at Tesla maybe or some of these big companies, or you know someone who does work there, so you know a thing or two about the next quarterly earnings and how it might look like compared to, let's say, me, because I don't know shit about Tesla. So you can basically try and trade based on the information that you have. If you do, that's just straight up insider trading. So this insider trading thing could earn you like a lot more money compared to what we were doing before. But these like small gains, 1 to 5%, stacks up together to make like a decent amount, right? And keep in mind, if you do this right, this 1 to 2%, which is within like a week. And make sure you do not wash trade, meaning like you just buy it at 99 cents or 50 cents and then just sell it right after at the same price, because you'd be shooting yourself in the foot there. And something else, if you are like really trying to get into this poly market and prediction market stuff, there are a lot of insiders within these markets and you can try to find them and then just piggyback off of their information. There are a couple of things you could do to find which ones is an insider versus not. And obviously you will find a lot of agents as well doing the same thing, but it's just probability of how many of those are insiders versus just beating straight up. I'm not gonna get more into that, but if you drop a comment, maybe I'll make a whole other video on it. So the next strategy would be up trading. So let's say you have platform one, which in this case is Polymarket, and you have another platform for prediction market. So let's say you have Polymarket and you have Kalshi, and on these you would have the same market. So for example, the Fed decision in October, you have the same market for and the same thing like a 50 points rate cut or 25 points rate cut, right? So you have these two outcomes for the single market. So sometimes what could happen is there'll be an inefficiency between these two markets. So here's a better explanation from ChatGPT. If the sum of all mutually exclusive outcomes doesn't equals 1, or as I mentioned 100, there's an inefficiency. So let's say yes on A is 55 cents and yes on B is 50 cents. These are mutually exclusive and exhaustive. So sum is a 1.05. You can sell both and lock in a 0.05 profit per dollar of exposure. And there's also like the cross market arbitrage, as I explained. If the same contract trades on different places, you can buy low and sell high simultaneously. That's how the settlement works. You can pause and read it. As far as I'm aware, for Polymarket, there are no fees on trading. Like the business model though is very interesting. Not gonna get into that, but yeah, there are no fees. And for Kalshi, I don't know, it's all KYC and stuff, and I don't want to get into all that stuff. All right, now for everyone who's still left and like want to get into this stuff really deep, here are a couple tools that could help you. The OKBet bot just integrates everything into Telegram, the Polymarket, and Kalshi. You can directly place bets in chats and all that stuff. You can read it. And then you have Nevua Markets. It's an adapter tool for Polymarket that helps you just track markets by keywords and get alerts on Telegram. Polyberg is an analytics tool that shows these smart wallets. And you also have Polydata for all the data and analytics stuff. And Polyfund is a decentralized platform based on Polymarket that lets. And Polyfund is basically just a platform that lets you like create funds and let other investors put money into your stuff and get a share of the profits. It basically lets you create a fund. Polyimtrade is for mobile if you prefer your phone. Polynote just covers all this news, strategies. And Polysites is basically just a dashboard, but it allows you to find these arbitrage opportunities that I talked about and trends and these anomalies. Meaning like you can just use this platform to find the insiders that I've mentioned. And Polyfactual is useful for market makers. Hashdive is another dashboard for Polymarket giving data on liquidity, volume, trends, plus smart probability estimates through AI. Again, all of these things are just basically trying to catch these insiders. I'll show an example in just a second. Whale Watch Poly is a Twitter account that tracks these whales. Whales are basically investors who put in a lot of money, right? If you put in like $10, $100, you're basically a shrimp. And if you put in thousand, maybe not even a thousand, like $10,000, you're a whale. And betmore.fun is basically just an aggregator of all these different prediction markets. So again, here, the Polysites platform that I mentioned, they posted a tweet about the insider catches that they've done on the markets. And this is a great example for insider trading, as you can see. Up until here, everything was okay. And then right here, before they announced, the odds for this woman right here just shot up, as you can see. That's the orange line. Boom. And what do you know? She's actually the 2025 Nobel Prize winner. So that's basically insider activity, right? So if you had bought the odds for that woman at 48%, you would stand to gain like 52% after this market has concluded. If you want to watch more videos on airdrops and all this stuff, subscribe and join the Rektless Crypto Telegram channel. The link's down in the description right below the like button.